Hello, and welcome to Film Critics Guild February Titles Roundup. I'm Aditya Shrikrishna. I'm a film critic based in Chennai and Bhubaneswar. I write for OTT Play and Mint Lounge.
So my name is Sangeetha. I write for The Hindu, primarily because I'm based in Hyderabad. I review Telugu movies, but I keep watching films across languages.
Hi, I'm Shomini Sen. I'm based in Delhi. I work for Vion. I'm a critique for Vion and primarily doing Hindi films mostly and web series and movies.
So, Sagita, do you want to start off with which are the? I mean, how do you want to start with favorites, or do you want to start with
What
which
you watched
what
this
you review?
month?
Yeah.
What I watched? Okay. I'll start with Telugu because that is what that's like the
Yeah.
domain which I review. Uh, so I should say that February was a fairly very mellowed down month after, the January festivities like Tamil Nadu has Pongal and we have Sankranti. And so that is the time when those very big budget films and those starlet films come. And after that, there's like a slightly like, it tapers down a bit. So this February has been that way. Among the films that I watched, I think the first one of the weeks I watched was a film called Ambajipeta Marriage Band. Okay, that's made by a debut director called Dushyant Katikaneni. Now he comes from the Godavari district. So this is based on a real life incident that he's like dramatized and fictionalized and done a story. It discusses how tough it is for somebody to rise up against caste discrimination. They don't say it very in your face and openly, but it's there. It's there. The undercurrents are all there, and then it comes out. It's like you are still judged by the job you do, and you don't have a say, even if you're educated. The film primarily revolves around Suhas and Sharanya Pradeep, who are like twin siblings. Now she's a teacher, government school teacher on merit, but she is still, they try to put her down by saying that you just got it because of somebody's recommendation from an upper caste and things like that. So it's a very hard-hitting tale. I quite liked it, especially because both of them are absolutely brilliant performers who've come up the hard way. That I would say was the pick of the Telugu films this year. There were other films like Eagle, Yatra to Uru Peru Bhairava Kona, and Sundaram Master. Now, all these films, Yatra to is like the YSR biopic now, and then later they tell you the Jagan's story. That's how it is. It has a biography kind of a treatment. The other films, very interesting premise, but I wouldn't say they turned out to be very wholesome. Here and there, some segments were good, but on the whole, you felt that it was like a lost opportunity. That's how I felt about those movies. But interestingly, the films that I enjoyed watching the most this month, were two Malayalam films. One is Premalu. Premalu
Yeah.
is about a bunch of young Malayalis who are based in Hyderabad. So it's like, 10 years ago, we had Bangalore days for that
Yeah,
generation of the young love
everybody.
stories, right? So this is
Right.
for this generation of the 20 plus, 20 to 25 age group people. Very lighthearted, but a lot of fun. So you have like a mix of Malayalam, Telugu, and Tamil and all that. It made me so it just leaves you with a very happy mood that I went and revisited Bangalore days again that weekend. And the other one would be Manjummel Boys. I'm sure one of you would have seen it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant survival thriller based on a real incident. Fabulous tribute to Kamal Hassan's Guna with Raja's music, of course. But beyond that, oh God, it's like it just keeps you on your toes. And there was like absolute pin drop silence in the hall. And when finally you know how it's going to end because it's based on a real incident. But when they really pull it off, everyone was clapping. That was the mood of the theater.
Yeah. Uh, Shobhi, do you want to go next? Because I think I'll come back to the films that Sangeeta mentioned because pretty much common, and I think it's a month of Malayalam cinema, at least in the
Oh,
south.
yes.
Yeah, Shobhi, if you can go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it can be, I think every month these days is a month of Malayalam films. I mean, South, I think the four states, incredible stuff coming out almost every month. You um we are at a loss of, what to watch, especially not because it's hard to keep up, to be very honest, especially if you're reviewing Hindi films and after that, catching up on the rest of the stuff that's available. February was terribly disappointing in terms of content in Hindi. There was a film called Teri, Baaton mein Aisa, Uljha, Jiya. What a tongue twister name, and okay, so it's got, of course, Shahid Kapoor and Kriti Sanon, and Shahid Kapoor returns so-called to his comfort zone of playing the romantic hero, a role that he has played so many times very early in his career. So, very nice music, and I honestly think that Shahid is a very good dancer and very gifted dancers, and it's a great. I also thought the premise was not bad because it talks of robots, the future, AI, things that we are anyway talking about. Um, no, it could have left a bigger impact for me. I thought probably I had more expectation. It didn't, unfortunately. I thought Kriti Sanon's casting was very interesting. She's ultimately playing a robot who doesn't have too much of expressions and not too much to do. And this I'm talking about a person who's already won a national award very recently. So I also thought that both Kriti and Shahid were not needed in this film. It could have been done by someone far less, like an average actor. Shahid, if you give him a good role, like I love him in all Vishal Bhardwaj films, he somehow manages to take that, thing out. There was this film called Bloody Daddy last year. It had released. It sort of got, it wasn't really talked about, but it was a very interesting film, and I quite enjoyed the film. So Shahid does his stuff, and he knows that he's a good actor if given a good role. But here he was just like sleepwalking through the film. So that was that. Then I also watched Aarya's third season, Sushmita Sen's great web series, which she's done so incredibly well for the last two seasons. And this was the final season, and I really hope that it ends on a high, but it doesn't, and it was quite a disappointment. Especially I think so it had released a bit of it, I think, few months back. The finale came in two parts. What Disney Hotstar has been doing of
Yeah,
late.
the new thing they do.
Yeah, they're doing this weird new thing. So it started on a good note. It was very interesting, but somehow it ends it's quite a damn squib by the end of it. Especially the last episode is just so disappointing, deeply disappointing. It's like they just stopped. The writers just stopped thinking. They were like, let's just get it over with. So I honestly thought it was not a very good implementation. And for a series which started off with so much of promise, and Sushmita Sen was incredible. She's even won a FCG award, Critics Guild Award, for her role in this.
Yeah, the first season
But
was very good. Ram Madhwani's direction was very good.
yeah, exactly. But somehow, the especially the last 20-25 minutes, I think it was so terribly badly executed. Ela Arun was just like off her. The actor who's playing her son in the film, in the series, he's, I don't know, so eccentric for no reason. There's no justification in the way it ended. So I thought Arya would end on a high, but it didn't. And the film that I genuinely enjoyed watching, even though I have a lot of complaints about it, is All India Rank, Varun Grover's beautiful film. So much of 90s nostalgia. It's the little things that, he's been able to portray, which are not even that relevant in the scene. Like, I don't want to give out too many spoilers. I would really recommend everybody to watch it. But there's this one scene, where the main protagonist is just like, it's a flashback scene. He's just talking about how he's been a topper all his life and he's been doing really well. And there's this scene where in the morning school assembly, which is typically out in the sun, he's getting these awards. So every year it's the same guy. He's going up on the stage and receiving the toppers award. The scene is basically of him, but there's this one little moment. So in North India, I've grown up all my life I've been in Delhi, and North India summers are really, really bad. And morning assemblies, some boy or some girl, some child would be fainting at any given point of time. It's a thing that is very typical of all morning assemblies across North India, North Indian schools. And it's that scene is actually about the protagonist, but there's this one moment where they just show him on the background, a kid painting in the assembly. Like, it's not relevant to the narrative, but the fact that the detailing is just so beautiful that it makes you smile. And so much of 90s nostalgia, the Walkman, the Rangila soundtrack suddenly, the posters on the wall. Like, if you've grown up in the 90s, early 2000s, like it's like going back to your childhood. I did have certain reservations the way the film eventually ends up, and it also the timing of the release. I mean, it comes at a time when 12th Fail has done so incredibly well, and there's also Kota Factory available on Prime Video.
Yeah.
So same
Yeah.
premise. Um, so yeah, that I think probably goes against All India rank. But otherwise, the film it's like a sweet nostalgic ride. So it's wonderful. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watched these three, and I
I
watched
thought that the 90s. Yeah,
yeah.
go on, go on. Sorry.
No, I watched Dune. I hadn't watched it when it had released. Surprisingly, I had missed it. But that's for a later day, I think, that discussion.
So yeah, like you said about Olivia and the 1990s pictures are so well done, and what I think I tweeted this. A rare thing that I saw was the Ruby Bhatia show. A small clip comes on, and I was like, they just got even. There's something that people don't remember anymore. There are a lot of posters and songs, of course, are very commonplace as we still see, but watching a Ruby Bhatia show clip was completely out of blue. I didn't expect that. And I didn't think that.
Only 90s kid would know what you're talking about, a Ruby Bhatia show. That's something
Absolutely.
only
Yeah,
only people who have grown up in the 90s would know what. I mean, this generation wouldn't know
yeah,
who's
yeah,
Ruby Bhatia for first
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
We'll have
yeah,
to first explain who's Ruby Bhatia.
yeah. Because
The
like she pretty much disappeared off the scene, so I don't think anybody will know after the show. But yeah, so I felt the film had a lot of the flavor of the film reminded me of these small town films or Delhi films that came in the 2008 to 2013 period in Hindi cinema, like Do Duni Char and all those films. It kind of had that kind of a charm. And I think Varun Grover is on record talking about how J.D. Sani is a big inspiration for writing this, the way he's written this film. And I thought this film did resemble a lot of Jadid Sani's work, and yeah, I like his the strand in his in Vivek's parents' place, which is that
yeah.
story is actually
Better.
to me, and the actors are also so good in that. And it was a very earnest that way, the way it is made. And but otherwise, I did feel the film was little distant and dispassionate, and maybe it could be because of the influence of very recently having watched 12th Fail, which is very the tone of 12th Fail is very different from this one.
Also, before that,
Um,
there was Kota Factory, which was
yeah,
again
Kota
a
Factory
similar.
as well.
Yeah, so I think we've seen this. It's a known story. I think the timing of the release, the film, if it had come out, say maybe 2 years before, I
yeah.
think the impact would have been more.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say just moving to the Tamil scene, the February was very dismal scene for Tamil. It's either small films or not that many great releases. Either I think the two biggest releases were Prabhuram Vyas's Lover and
Yeah.
Aishwarya Rajnikant's Lal Salam. Lal Salam, Sangeetha, did you get to watch Lal Salam?
No, I didn't. In fact, I saw the reviews, and then each weekend becomes like there are so many Malayalam films to catch up, and then a Tamil
Exactly.
film, and then a Hindi film, and then you're thinking, I have just one off day. What do I watch?
Yeah, so where I am, last Ram didn't find a release, but I did. So I was not able to catch that, but I did manage to catch Prabhuram Vyas Lover, which is very well done in the sense
Yeah.
that it's a kind of film that you don't see often nowadays. It's a very messy love story between this couple played by Manikandan and Sri Gauri Priya. and it kind of dropped in the middle of their 6-year-old relationship that has followed from college to their just blossoming career, and we find her to be a very ambitious career woman with a kind of vibrant social life, and he is more of still trying to find his footing, and someone who's really frustrated and has not evolved from the college time guy that he was compared to how she is now, and that kind of puts 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 a wedge into their relationship, and he kind of increasingly becomes insecure and possessive and all kinds of things. Like he I mean to put it very plainly, he's just not a great guy, and that is so this kind of romance is something that we don't see often, and even if we see it, it's not done very well because it tends to take tries to be neutral or tries to be very come from male gaze. But even though this is made by Prabhuram, yeah, it is. I thought the film dealt with it in a very uh, not in a very heavy-handed way, and it's very rare that we get to see a film like this. And I think it also is done well in the box office, which is great for the actors and for the director and for the kind of subject that it is. It's a small film, but it's a kind of a welcome sign that the film has actually done well. And coming back to the nostalgia, Sangeetha, you want to talk about Guna, because Manjummel Boys, even I watched, and I think without Guna, I wonder if the film actually works.
Oh, I think it adds a little
Yeah,
extra zing to the film. Even without that, it would work. But when they take you into the caves, or even the opening animation credits. See, I haven't
yeah,
watched Guna after the 90s. Okay, I grew up in Tamil Nadu, so I've been exposed to Tamil films from childhood. So for me, I didn't need like another visit of Guna and all that. As the animation was going on, I could just vividly picture the song that they are talking about, and that's a song that all of us would know by heart. And very cleverly, they've used the music as well. It's like going to explore the
yeah,
Guna caves. See, I mean, it's actually like very tragic to think that somebody has fallen that into a deep
yeah.
ravine about 900 meters, and you never know if he'll come back to life. To use something like that and pay a tribute to a Kamal Hassan's movie because the caves are named after his movie, I think it's a delicate balance. You also have to see that if it's being sensitive enough to the people and all that. And
To go ahead and give a little bit of background to this. So Manjummel Boys is about is directed by Chidambaram Pudwal, and it stars Sobin Shahid, Srinath Basi, and the bunch of characters. The film is like it's about a gang of male friends who go on a trip to Kodaikanal and visit Guna Caves as part of their trip. And to give some background on Guna itself, so Guna is a film by Kamal Hassan, starring Kamal Hassan, directed by Santana Bharati. It's a 1991 film. It has a huge nostalgic value, not just because of the music by Ilayaraja and the kind of film that it is. Guna released with along with Maniratnam Talapati, and which stars Rajnikant, and that film kind of steamrolled Guna when it released. So Guna did not do well in the box office, but it is when people look back, it is a very it kind of grew uh, a fan following, and kind of people revisited the film and reviewed the film in a completely different light. And the songs, of course, were a huge hit. And Manjummel Boys is set, I think, in the mid 2000s, 2005, 2006 or so, and it uses this nostalgic value very well, and it also uses something that Malayalam cinema does well, which is basically how fluid Tamil film references and Tamil film culture is used in their film. I think that way the film relies very heavily on this Guna nostalgia value, but as a survival thriller, it does very well. Um, before I go to other February films,
I
Sunny,
want
did
to
you?
quickly ask you
Yeah,
this. So the
yeah.
film, the current film we are talking about, it's similar that they take the 91 Sangeetha is back. So I was just asking that, does it take the Kamal Hassan film's story, the
No,
same plot, and then,
no, no, no.
makes it to this more relevant to this generation, or it's just the same backdrop?
No, it's just the same title. So Guna is it's again sort of a controversial subject in terms of what the film is about. So it's about a neurodivergent man who has sort of a god complex, and he kidnaps a woman thinking that she's the goddess that he must unite with. And there's a lot of mythical elements behind that, and it's not an easy film to watch. It's not, the hero is not exactly the likable guy. So the film is completely different from Manjummel Boys. Um, where Guna was shot, it's shot in this sort of a cave in the hillside, and that's where Guna and uh, Abhiram, the heroine Roshni's character, he kidnaps her and takes her there. And so over time, this place where the film was shot gained a legendary status and got called Guna Caves, and it became a tourist spot. So the characters in Manjummel Boys visit this Guna cave, and one of their friends just falls into a crevice, and so it becomes a survival thriller. And over the course of the film, they keep talking about Guna and how they cannot miss the spot where Kamal Hassan has acted and acted in great film. So there's a lot of that the
A lot of
film has that going
referencing to
for
that
it.
film,
Yeah,
right?
and then the song, which is like one of the most famous Tamil songs and most loved Tamil songs, keeps coming up, and they've used that song very well too. And so that way, for especially the audience in the South, I think the film has worked so well, especially in the theater. Like when you watch it with the whole auditorium knowing the Guna references and knowing when the song will come and what will come. So that has added to the experience. And I think even though there are other films that are probably better than Manjummel Boys in the February, even from Malayalam itself. But I think as a theater experience, Manjummel Boys really scores high.
Mm,
Yeah, I think that
right.
song, anybody would just sing it by heart, and it's considered one of SP Balasubramaniam's best songs. Kanmani Anbodu. It's like you just have to start, and then people will start reciting the dialogues, and then take it on from there, and they'll start singing. So it's like it gives you a high, and it's a very theatrical film, Manjummel Boys. I don't think you can enjoy it on your laptop or your TV screens. It's like it's meant for community watching.
Sanjay, did you get to watch Bramayugam?
No, I haven't. I haven't yet watched it. I did the thing of watching Premalu, and then on the same day I was supposed to watch Brahmayugam, but I was like in such a happy mood, I didn't want to go and look at anything dark. So I put it away for another week. And then Manjummel Boys came. I was like, oh, they have another movie that you can't miss, so let me watch that.
Yeah,
That's why.
Mammootty is back like how? I mean, it's amazing the kind
yeah.
of films that he's picking up
Amazing.
just like, I mean, the newer generation can just sit and just gape at him that despite so many years of doing such incredible work, and he's so many stuff. I mean, I just watched Kathal thanks to the Critics' Choice, and such a beautiful film. It's such a beautiful
Kannur
Yeah,
film.
Squad as well. I loved that. I loved Katal the Core as well as Kannur Squad. I think it's like,
Yeah.
he's on a roll.
yeah, he had three good films last year, and now he's already had Brahmayugam. So Brahmayugam is directed by Rahul Sadasivan, and Rahul Sadasivan made Bhutakalam a couple of years
Yeah.
ago with
Mm,
starring Revati, and Revati was nominated for Best Actress in the Critics' Choice Award
right.
that year, and that is a very good film and a well-received film, and so this one was uh, uh, like what to look forward to from Rahul Sadasivan, and more so because Mammootty was part of it. And it's a film set in the 17th century, and once again, it's a horror film from Rahul Sadasivan, and it's completely black and white. So there was a lot of build up to this film, and I think pretty much the film lives up to it. In fact, the first 1 hour or so is I think some of the great uh, 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 the setup that we've probably seen in some time. There are only like three characters, and there is this house, and the way the sound is designed, and the way um, uh, uh, Rahul Saraswan and cinematographer Shina Jal shoot everything. So because it's black and white, we are always aware of everything in the frame. Like we're not distracted by anything, and so it adds to that atmosphere, to that airy atmosphere. And Mammootty, of course, I mean, I think enough said about him, and there's just no words to describe how he performed. Because I don't want to spoil anything because the film is still in theaters, and
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a theater experience. And this film released with Premalu, which is a completely different film. Sangeetha, you want to add more about Premalu? In fact, it's set in Hyderabad, right?
Yeah, Premalu, it's like, while watching the film, I was thinking this is straight up the alley of a Telugu film, a mainstream Telugu film, or even a mainstream Tamil film to make such a fun love story like this. But they've done it, and it's just beautiful because, see, the new part of Hyderabad, especially the financial district and all that, these are the kind of youngsters you find because they come to work here from different parts of the country. So you'll find subcultures and microcultures from different parts of the country, and how they like kind of find friendship, and then an unlikely romance and all that comes about. I thought that was like very beautifully handled itself. And they all go off on a wedding to somewhere in Andhra, so you have a little bit of the Telugu culture, and then they trying to get do a one-upmanship with another guy who is like the girl's boss or the team leader, right? He's like the team
Yeah.
leader. So it's just beautiful. And it's also like the lead character is like a few months younger to the girl, so it's almost like she's the one who gently like nudges him and like tries to show him what to do in life and all that, which without any heavy handed approach, I thought they handled it well, and
Yeah,
very pragmatic as well as it goes.
and Girish really I mean, I'm yet to watch this one, but Girish, the first two films are actually I really like this film. Like they are the debut film was Tanir Matan Birangal, and then he had Sukeshwaranya, which also has Mamta and Anuswara Rajan. This one, so I was really actually looking forward to this, but I couldn't catch it because how much I love those two films. And I think he really works well with in this space of this young romance. The debut film is about like I think it's in 12th standard school romance, and then the second film is sort of set in a girls' hostel. And the third film, of course, now he's moved on to a slightly
But he sticks to the
older group, but
genre
it's
of
still
youth.
20s. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he makes the film for a young crowd, yeah, young
Yeah,
audience.
so
Yeah,
he's slightly
he's
so
progressing with
going forward
every
maybe.
this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so that way, it's a great filmography so far from him, and I'm really looking forward to watching Premalu. Shomini, do you watch anything this Friday? What are the dates this Friday?
Sorry, I didn't get you
I
there.
mean, this Friday, just last.
Actually, I did watch Lapata Ladies.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if we are allowed to talk about it, but it's actually a March release and
So it had a
somebody else
festival.
will.
Yeah.
But I can safely, if I am allowed, I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about it. I'll do it. Um, I think I mean in Bollywood, although Lapata Ladies, I don't know if it can qualify as a mainstream Bollywood cinema. Although Amir Khan has backed it, so maybe yes. Um, the year started on a very disappointing note. I mean, Fighter was okay. It was not bad, but it wasn't like right up there. The films were not that great, but I think we have finally. It's just February, but we've got the best film of the year. I mean, Lapata
Oh, that's
Ladies.
lovely to hear.
It's such a beautiful film. Like I think I happened to watch it at a special screening that was happening in Delhi. The cast was also the cast and Kiran Rao, the director. And first thing I mean, the first thing that came in my mind was that what took Kiran Rao so many years to get back to cinema and writing, because this script apparently was it had won in some competition, And Amir picked it up, and Amir was the judge in that competition. And in 2018, and it took her that many years to make the film. Lapata Ladies is it's like a warm hug. It's talking about so many things, of course, but and very important things, but it just is such a it's done in such a beautiful way that never do you feel that we are they're forcing it down your throat, or it's never a lecture or a jargon, or you don't feel that, oh, they're just ticking the boxes. They are, of course, I mean, multiple issues are being tackled in one film, but so beautifully done. And the actors, I'm so glad that they took fresh new faces. They are all incredible. It's a beautiful story. I think each actor, even the three lead despite apart from the three lead characters, the other characters also, you can make stories out of each of those characters. And I think that's the beauty of how beautifully the film has been written. And Ravi Kishan is fab. He's just like, it's like he's a revelation again. Once again, um, there was this one film which came out few months back called Mission Raniganj. It was Akshay Kumar's. The film was okay, average, but Ravi Kishan somehow, in that little role, he's one of the miners who's stuck in that bore well, that deep tunnel that gets in the coal mine. Ravi Kishan stood out in that role also. I think uh, Lapata Ladies is definitely going to work really wonders for his career. I hope it does, because it's a fabulous film. He's great in it. I think more we should talk about it once it's released. This Friday it releases, 1st March.
Yeah.
But definitely we have the best film of the year already. I can safely say that. But I think February is also, I mean, I was listening to both of you, a lot of nostalgia attached to it, and All India Rank is also, it
Yeah.
cashes on a lot of nostalgia, like 90s nostalgia, um which is nice. I mean, it's a nice feeling. If I have to come back to Teri Baaton Mein, the film is, of course, made within the realms of typical commercial love story. It's supposed to be comedy and family entertainer. But if there's one thing that genuinely I quite liked was the ending. I don't want to give it out, but it gives a very um, coherent ending. It doesn't go all out. Um, it's similar to Her, which had Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. There also he fell in love with an AI generated voice, but they did it in a much subtle way, not the Bollywood style Nach Gana and all of that. But I like the ending. The conclusion is quite an interesting conclusion. The funny part is they are so confident that the film will do well that they have already announced the second part.
Okay.
I'm
So
a
everybody comes with
little
a sequel.
skeptic. I'm a little skeptical about the second part. I mean, I don't know why they have done it already, but they have announced it, and God save us.
I would like two more films, two more works. So one is on 23rd, I think Don Palatra's Family, another Malayalam film
Yeah,
also
yeah.
released. I don't know how big a release it was, but that one finally had a release. So the film premiered in Rotterdam last year, and then also played in Kerala and Bangalore film festivals. And it was one of I watched it after I think its Rotterdam premiere, and it was one of the best films that I had watched last year, and finally it got a release, and it stars Vinay Ford and Divya Prabha, and Don Paltra has been making films for 9 years now, and he's even a filmmaker who's made around 6 features now, and a family is set in a hillside town in Idukki district,
Idiki.
and it's about it's set in a parish. It's not about a single protagonist, but it's about a community that and you have the church, and it talks about there is a child sexual abuse angle to it, and how the church and the community tends to protect and sometimes even preserve the perpetrators. And
Yeah.
it's a wonderfully made film, and it's probably it kind of, I think maybe because of the how big or how small release it got, it kind of got lost in the whole February Malayalam month thing, because I think it definitely should be added to the rest of the films, like Bramayugam and Manjummel Boys and Premalu. Family is also is part of that roster. And so that is another film that if it's running anywhere near you, and you really catch it. It's going to be one of the best films of this year. Among the ones that's released. Did any of you catch Poacher? The
No,
Not
series
yet.
on Prime?
Not yet.
not yet. But there was also Article 370 that released.
Yeah.
Bit of a controversy around that film. A lot of people thought probably it was playing to a certain section and playing to a gallery. And there was Crack, I think, Vidyut Jamwal, who has
Oh,
already
yeah.
declared it himself that it's a hit film.
I haven't got
Vidyut,
I got neither of them.
and he's also alleging that people are, critics, some of the critics, not part of our guild, but some of the critics have asked him for money in return of a good review of the film. So says a lot about the film. Uh, I haven't watched any of the two films. Article 370, I am curious. I am very curious as to how it's going to play out. Priyamani and Yami
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 Gautam.
Gautam.
Yami Gautam and Aditya is the producer who's also made Uri. So
Mm.
should be interesting. I am yet to watch it. I haven't watched it. I do know that Lal Salam, somebody told me, somebody watched it, and somebody told me that they should have just like I kept waiting for 3 hours to understand why it's called Lal Salam, because I thought there would be some communist leaning something, but I just couldn't understand why it was called Lal Salam. So that was something I took from the review that I read of Lal Salam.
Yeah, that was kind of a head scratcher even when they announced the film. But yeah, and coming back to Poacher, I watched Poacher by Rishi Mehta, who did the Delhi Cast season one, and the series is very well done. It's about it's set in 2015 when there is a return of uh, poaching of elephants in forest in Kerala, and there's a whole ivory smuggling ring that gets exposed, and you meet these forest officers and a raw agent, and how they work together. What I really like about the series is it's kind of fluid between three languages. It goes from Malayalam, Hindi, English, and all the actors are great. And Rishi Mehta is actually a very good director, and he, even though the film is about environment and forest, his go-to shot seems to be the close-up, and all the actors can hold the close-up. It's so everyone from Nisha Sajay to Roshan Matthew and Divendra Bhattacharya, who's really good. They all can hold the close-up again because they're such good actors. And I think this is definitely one of the better series from Prime, and I suspect that in the next year's awards it will definitely figure in our nomination for the series, because as a whole I think the series is very well done. And I think I would welcome more series like this, like we don't have to worry about a single language series and other things when you have when it's written so well, and you have the where it is set, it's set in Kerala, but you have characters speaking between languages, and we don't have this rigidity towards the language. I think great things can be made, and if actors are also open to those languages, it's absolutely great.
Yeah, I
It's
think
actually
that
quite a
boundary has gone for a good, for a good reason, and it's really nice when even in movies and series, both you have people talking in multiple languages, which reflects, the different potpourri kind of a culture which exists in a lot of cities.
absolutely, and it's just the normal. That's the way it is in reality. So I mean, it's a good thing, and I also like the idea that something on the environment is being made, but in a fiction space. That's also not a very common thing in India, at least. We do. The one that I remember is Sherni. It was sort of Vidya
Yeah.
Balan was there and also talked about similar stuff, but apart from that, I don't think there are too many films made on environment and what all is happening. I think that's a fabulous. I mean, it's again like Aditya mentioned, mostly on the documentary. Sorry.
Jigatanda Double X. You might want to watch it.
Yeah, I have heard, but I haven't. That's the problem. Unless we get to watch it, thanks to the guild and thanks to Critics' Choice Award, we get to watch. I get to watch a lot of other language this thing, but between the things that you have to review on a daily, on a weekly basis, you really don't find time to pick and choose and watch things. That's a bit of a problem.
Absolutely. There's a huge backlog of films in Tamil that I want to watch, and I haven't had the opportunity to do so. Even Manikandan's film, the Tamil language had a very limited release here, and then the Telugu dub had many shows. I didn't want to watch the dubbed version, so I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes our February roundup of releases. Thank you for joining. Of course, we'll be doing this every month. See you next month. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Lovely talking to you. Bye.